Hello everyone, today I'm working on this SD40 and I got a little bit lucky there. I found this on the Buy It Now page, so I didn't have to wait for the auction to end. It was in a reasonable price, so I jumped on it right away. And I kind of like the way the guy made his own box. It's kind of neat. I think I'm going to keep it that way. Although every time you remove the engine from the box, you get a lot of foam falling out. But the engine's protected well, and it's kind of cool. So I'm keeping it like that. It was a little bit tight in there, especially as far as the horn is concerned. But as far as I can tell, it's in original condition and in very good shape. So that was a good purchase. Although it's not the DCC ready frame, it's the DC only. It's still very cool to run these. So these came into a blue box and they had rapido couplers. We're gonna switch it out to micro trains in no time. And it's not even dirty. I'm still gonna wash it because I like to do that. I just use my toothbrush with some dish soap. And we're gonna clean and lube it. Probably, judging from the condition it's in, it would run right away and it would run great. But I'm still gonna want to clean it. Even has proper labeling on the box, so that's kind of cool. To remove the shell, I use the box method. Everything's nice and neat and clean under here. It's just like a time machine, going back in time 30 years to get one of these. Amazing. So I'll just remove the two screws that hold everything together. These even have arrows, so you can put them back to the proper direction. It's nice to get lucky sometimes. Sometimes you get, you buy something on eBay, you get a challenge. This one, very happy with my purchase. And then I'll just pop the bottom ones. The contact strips, if they pop out, that's okay. Just pop the bottom ones. I can get to my trucks probably now. Just spread out the frame a little bit. That is the secret to Kato's good running engines. They work very hard on these trucks to make them extra smooth. And these contact strips, I just clean them with my finger. And that's that. So I'll just keep popping these pins out till the frames come out. This shouldn't be hard actually. Look at that, everything in like new condition. I'm gonna test it on the bench. I got a feeling this motor is whisper quiet. You can listen to my power pack when there's a short circuit. Changes pitch. Yeah, whisper quiet, just like I thought. I always check both polarities just in case. Absolutely awesome. The only thing I'm going to lubricate is maybe the warm gears a little bit. And that should be good. All you need is a tiny little drop in there. And that's it. I'll play around with my fingers just to move it around a little bit. But that is ready to go. That was the easiest engine I ever had to work on. The pins are a little bit tight, that's interesting. I don't think that's going to be a problem. Sweet. The most of the time we're going to be spending on this engine is cleaning out the trucks. That is where the smoothness is made, and also where the power is made. Alright, so these are getting cleaned also, but they are in really good shape. So we're going to do a little bit of everything on this. So these contact strips also, I don't do too much to them, especially since this engine is clean. I'll just run my screwdriver on it just to check. You know, sometimes they get hair on the sides there by the bearing. But this one does not have any hair. Everything looks awesome. So that's that. So I still check them just in case, but once I get that done, I'm happy. And then I'll remove the wheels. And then I'll clean them with my toothbrush, and then I'll clean them with my rag also. Oftentimes when you find an engine that the wheels keep falling off, it's this little pin right here that gets broken. And that's because people, instead of splitting the frames, they just pull on the pin. They just pull on the truck. Actually, I guess they pull on the truck to get the shell out. So there's two ways to get the shell out. You can pry on these pads here. That's one way, and the other way is using your box. The box, I've done it many times, and it never damaged any engine. I don't know if the manufacturer intended for that to be used like that, but it's a good coincidence that it works. So I'll just clean the wheels with my rag, making sure they're squeaky clean. That is just a good feeling when your wheels are squeaky clean. There, perfect. And I've only got 4 more to do. I'm getting ready to put everything back together. There's no particular order for the wheels, they're all symmetrical. I would do that type of maintenance maybe once a year or every 6 months if you use the engine a lot. So as you bring everything together, make sure that your axles are in their end caps the way they're supposed to. And then there's 3 pins on the truck, on the main part of the gearbox where the contact strips ride. This little pin right here, make sure you're connected to that. And then I'll bring in the other side. It's a little bit finicky, this part, but that's what, like I said before, that's what makes the power, and that's what makes the smoothness. So test it with your finger. You should feel no resistance whatsoever. And then once you're happy, you can bring in your side frames. And they do have a direction. this arrow should point out away from the locomotive, and test them with your finger again. So if they feel good, then that's good. I'll do the other side off camera. Now I'm ready to put everything back together. I like to start with maybe the contact strips here, and then I'll put the fuel tank so it goes, the fuel tank will hold them in place. These go over and under. So they go under here and over here and under this pin. Then the fuel tank will hold them in position. The little filler hole goes towards the front. So that will hold my contact strips in place. And then there's still enough slack from the frame to allow me to bring in my trucks. You can spread them out a little bit, never hurts. Because you want to be careful with that pin. So I'll just use my screwdriver to spread it out just a tiny bit. That will allow me to bring it in. This is the time that you want to be mindful about the contact strips. Contact strips have to hit that little pin precisely. If they're misaligned, it will cause you to lose power. This little guy should be just a little bit lower. They don't have to have a lot of tension. They just barely have to touch. Watching from my arrow. If you can get them to barely touch, you're good. There. Now go to everything. Make sure your contact strips are good. Everything's lined up properly. And then I can bring the two screws back in. They don't have to be very tight. In fact, you can run the engine without them. But that's my goal, is to keep it as factory original as possible. So that's what I do. So they don't even have to be very tight. There, I'm happy with that. And then the little back one, and then the little front light, and then the little light shield. Gotta have that. Do you guys put the little men in your N scale engine? I don't know if that matters a lot. Now let's go try it on the track. Let's see where we're at. Runs really good, just like I thought it would. Whisper quiet. Now before I put the shell back on, I'm gonna switch out the couplers. So this probably never has been touched. These Rapido couplers, they're okay. I don't mind them at all. Now there's a couple of ways to put the knuckle coupler. I think the ones I'm going to be using today, they are so I'm going to be using the Accumate coupler from that Atlas engine I had a little while back. So the Accumate couplers, these, they're okay. I prefer the micro trains, but these, for this engine, I'm not going to be using it every day. So the Accumate will do just fine. And scale, invariably you're going to be working with some small parts. So I always keep some trucks nearby so I can know I have the proper orientation. So I'm going to be putting it from upside down, so I want it this way. It's easier if you take the whole shell apart, but it can be done with just a little bit apart. There, and then I gotta line up. I keep the original, you can put a screw there, but I keep the original rapido pin, and I just snap it back into place. And there, bingo. I'm happy with that. Now we're in business. So I do the exact same thing for the back. And then the rapido couplers, I save them. I have a little box for that. So next time I need a rapido coupler, I've got it handy, if you know what I mean. And then we'll put the shell back on. We're just about done. And now it's time to run some trains. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. I certainly had fun making it for you. See you soon.